that you guys have had a great, outstanding week. Now, here's the deal. Starting this Friday for your video, I am going to be putting up the prizes and how much they cost. And then I will send you guys an email on Seesaw to tell you how much money you earned. But the cool thing is, if you can count by fives, which everyone can do, you'll know how much money you've earned. It's $5 for each assignment. Cool? Let's get started. We're going to start with our first thing is looking at our objectives. We want to make sure that we're able to describe characters in a text. And then the next thing that we're going to be able to do is decode multisyllabic words and be reading more challenging words. Okay, so let's get started with our word detective today. So when we're looking at these two words, they both have something in common. In common means that they have the same of. So let's look at these words. What do you see at the end of the word? You guys are amazing. I love it. Okay, so I'm going to read the word for you, and then we're going to break it up. So this word is before. Before. You need to do your work before you get to play your video games. That's a rule at our house. Sometimes it doesn't work as much as I want it to. The word is before. Okay? And the next word that we have is debate. So it's debate, debate. And debate is when you both maybe have different opinions and you're talking about your different opinions. So if I say, oh, the Minnesota Vikings are the very best, and then Lou's like, the Cowboys are the best, that's us having a debate. And I say, well, here's why the Vikings are better. And then Lou would say, well, here's why the Broncos are better, or the Cowboys are better. Okay, same thing. So a debate is getting to talk about two different people's feelings and why they feel that way. Okay? Let's look at this first word, before. Let's clap it out. Before. How many syllables do you hear? 2 syllables. We hear before. Awesome. So I would section off right between the E and the F. And I know if I look at that E, there's no consonant blocking it in, so it makes the long sound E. B. Now let's look at the word for. Okay, it's not the number 4, it's spelled different. It sounds the same, but spelled different. This has that magic E, and that O says its name. Before. Okay, easy peasy. Awesome. Now let's look at this one. Debate. Now, this first part is, let's look at that vowel. That E is not blocked in by anything else. So, it says its name, D. Now let's look at bait. Now there's a problem here. That E right here tells the A to say its name, debate. Debate. So I'm going to try to get my dogs to get a little quieter. I think they need to be played with. But I'll be right back, okay? Okay, hi guys. I think I got it to work. Let's hope that they're a little quieter. They wanted their toy, and they were both fighting for the same toy. What a bummer. Okay, so let's get back to our story, and let's see what is going to happen. As if those kids shouldn't blame us. We used to be pronounced once upon a time, in the time of pterodactyls, and look at that P is silent. So we don't call them pterodactyls, we call them pterodactyls. As a silent P, not so quite long ago, said the silent E. And look at in quite, that Q, it says QU, quite. Okay. Probably in the time of knights and castles. The silent letters didn't want to suffer in silence anymore. They wanted to speak up for themselves, but how? What could they do? Fight with all of our might. Scream like a bad dream. But the silent letters had to admit they weren't the fighting and screaming types. Finally, said silent G, we could just use sign language. Bright idea! Everything they needed was right there in the supply closet. The next day in Mr. Wright's class, couldn't wait to check the newspaper. They opened the right to the editorial page. Our letter is here, shouted Joe. We're famous. The kids gave a cheer loud and clear. But when they started to read, it was the kids' turn to be silent. Oh, guys, it's going to be very interesting. Dear editor, Mr. Ritt says good spellers are mad, not born. We don't lick silent letters. We can't hear them, so Ho needs them. Why? Us them. Silent letters should be banned. We hop, you print this. We hop people will read it again and agree that we are quit writ. Hopefully yours, Mr. Ritt's class. P.S. Cat rot this. Now, because all of our silent letters left, it changed the whole word, didn't it? So feel free to pause this and figure out which silent letters left. Super cool, right? Oh, finally the kids got their voices back. What happened? Somebody messed up our email. What's hopefully? What is about this bend? Who is Mr. Ritt? Cat rot? This letter is embarrassing. So silent letters are really meaningful. The kids were even more embarrassed when they read the editorial next to the letter. Huh? What? Fire Mr. Ritt. Of course, good spellers are mad. So are we. Our readers don't have time to figure out messages with sloppy spelling. The only reason why we're printing this is to highlight the spelling crisis in our school. The editors. The kids gathered around Mr. Wright, who was pale and saggy. It's not your fault. Well, if you look at the word pale, it had a magic E. So if you would have taken that out, it would have a different word, right? Suddenly, the knob on the supply closet turned. The door creaked open. Out marched the silent letters. They were carrying posters of protest signs they had made. They look brave. Silent letters are mighty fine, not mitty fin. So, adding that magic E turns fin to fine. Silence is golden, she wrote. Protect our right to remain silent. Don't knock silent letters. And thumbs up for silent letters. Don't leave me out. Don't write us off. They're back, the kids cheered loud and clear. Mr. Wright burst into grateful tears. So now let's kind of look at those silent letters. And they change as a word, doesn't it? Right away, the kids, with the help of the silent letters, Mr. Wright's class wrote another letter to the editor. Winner of the Golden Pen Award, best letter of the week. Dear editor, never fear, the future looks bright for spelling. We made peace with silent letters. We have learned to bravely face our mistakes. And our teacher says the answer is knuckle down and practice. As usual, Mr. Wright is right. Your friends, Mr. Wright's kids, and the silent letters. So the silent letters made their way into this letter. Isn't that so cool? And then it says, not perfect yet, but a brave try. The quiet ones always surprise you. And now everybody is happy. So when reading this book, we know that our silent letters are really important, right? So the next thing that I want us to do, we read our book, which was a super cool book. Now we're going to use our Foursquare to tell us what happened in the beginning, middle, and end of the story. Okay, so this sets itself up to be a five-sentence paragraph. Okay, so the first thing we have to do in this big box here is introduce the characters. Okay, so what can we say about the characters? Okay, and so we have the students and the letters and the teacher. So what can we say to write a letter, to describe the characters? I'm going to give you some think time. You guys are so awesome. I love all of your brains turning. So we can say maybe, how can we start this? I'm taking a piece of tape off of this board. Is we can say the children what happens? We're learning how to spell. So we kind of talked about the spell with what kind of letters? With silent letters, period. So in this little part, we talked about the children and the characters. We talked about the characters, we talked about the kiddos. Okay, so first we need to start with the beginning. So it says the children were learning how to spell with silent letters. Now remember we talked about those time order words, first, next. So we can say first. What happened first? First, the students didn't like spelling with silent letters. Okay, so what happened? First they didn't like spelling with silent letters. So in the middle, what did they decide to do? They sent, so we can say the silent letters felt sad. They did. The silent letters felt sad because the students didn't like spelling with them. Okay? And then, what happened is, so then the students wrote what? Wrote a letter and the silent letters jumped out. And I'm going to kind of silent. I'm going to have to write it really small. Sorry, guys. Letters jumped out. Now, what happened at the end? Okay, so first we said there were students. They didn't like spelling with silent letters. Then the silent letters felt sad. The students wrote a letter and the silent letters jumped out. And at the end, what happened? I'll give you some think time. At the end, what happened? The students learned that silent letters are important, right? Because they are. Now the last thing is, you always want to wrap it up with a feeling. I feel blank because blank. So you're going to say, I feel happy. That's the way I felt. I felt happy because the kids loved silent letters. Now, your paragraph does not have to model exactly the same as mine. You can use different sentences. But in this first area, you want to make sure that you're introducing the characters. And then we're going to go the beginning, the middle, the end, and then the feeling. I will make sure to have this 4 square up on your seesaw, and go ahead and write your 5-sentence paragraph about the silent letters. Isn't that such a cool book? I hope you guys liked it. Have a great day. Bye, guys.